I just came home yesterday and got to spend time with some of the victims and their families at University Medical Center, not too far from where we are at the scene of the shooting right now. Extraordinarily courageous people and just an amazing, strong community that's coming together in the face of this tragedy. The sales of weapons of war. This is really about hatred and racism and intolerance that continues to grow in this country. Hate crimes on the rise for each of the last 3 years. Division being sown by this president. Hatred being welcomed during his administration. All of us must stand up against this and for a much better, a much safer country. I'm saying that President Trump has a lot to do with what happened in El Paso yesterday. Anybody who begins their campaign for the presidency by calling Mexican immigrants rapists and criminals, anyone who, as president, describes asylum seekers at the U.S.-Mexico border as an infestation or an invasion or animals, anyone who describes those who do not match the majority of this country as somehow inherently dangerous or defective, sows the kind of fear, the kind of reaction that we saw in El Paso yesterday. So, absolutely, we're grieving here in El Paso, but our hearts are also with the people of Dayton, Ohio, Gilroy in California, all across this country, in mass shootings like those that we saw here in El Paso, and the shootings that have become so numbingly common, they don't even make the newscasts or the headlines of the daily paper, happening one or two at a time. The fact that we will lose nearly 40,000 of our fellow Americans this year and every year until we change course demands an urgency that has been absolutely lacking from Congress. So let's follow the lead of those students who are marching for our lives. Let's follow the lead of those moms who demand action. Let's follow the lead of those families here in El Paso who I've been listening to, who demand the kind of change that we need. Congress should come back in session, pass legislation. The president should sign it into law, but then we must also acknowledge that it has to go beyond that. The kind of hatred and open racism that we're seeing in this country is having not just a corrosive result, it's a deadly consequence, and we saw that on full display in El Paso yesterday.
One last thing.